Afternoon and welcome to the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Casmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Office of Special Prosecutor drops charges against Director of KEL Logistics Limited, Albert Ankara, after he agrees to testify as a prosecution witness in ongoing criminal case involving former NPA Chief Executive Mustafa Abdul Hamid and 9 others. Also on the program this afternoon, members of Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOGSAC, continue their nationwide strike after negotiations with Fair Wages and Salaries Commission ended without a resolution. Later on the program, Western North Regional Police Command moves to track down the whereabouts of the mother of 12-year-old Vida Kwarting, who was assaulted for selling harvested plantain without permission. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Members of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOGSAC, are continuing their nationwide strike after negotiations with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission on Monday ended without a resolution. CLOGSAC declared the industrial action to demand the full implementation of its agreed conditions of service. The association accuses the government and the commission of failing to honor the terms of a 2019 Memorandum of Understanding outlining how the new conditions should be implemented. The association says that several engagements with the authorities over the years have failed to produce the expected results, forcing the union to resort to the strike. The ongoing action has disrupted operations across several government ministries, departments and agencies, with many offices experiencing reduced services. CLOGSAC leadership insists the strike will continue until the government demonstrates clear commitment to implementing the agreed conditions of service. Members of the Local Government Workers Union have also joined the strike on similar grounds. Labour Affairs correspondent Daniel Opoku spoke with CLOGSAC Executive Secretary Isaac Bampoado. Let's listen to that and we'll go to Daniel to get the latest.
The meeting between parties was held behind closed doors and lasted for about an hour. At the end of the discussions, officials of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission were unable to convince CLOGSAC and the Local Government Workers Union to suspend their strike. Executive Secretary of CLOGSAC says the strike will continue until government is able to address their concerns.
The Fair Wages is going back to consult with government and get back to us.
And you are satisfied with that?
Yeah, we are satisfied with it now.
You are going to consult government in what way? Because this is a finalized something concluded and ready to be implemented.
Well, I cannot give you further details. All I can tell you is that the Fair Wages is going to consult government and get back to us. So we are waiting. As at now, National Executive Council has not suspended the strike.
When asked whether the association had considered the impact of the strike on public services, Isaac Adu maintained that the action was necessary to press home their demands. Have you considered the impact of your strike nationwide? Because people are complaining the weight and the gravity of your strike.
The people should also consider the impact on our pockets. Our children are being thrown out of school. We are having issues with our spouses. And now it used to be the case that civil servants are held in high esteem, but we are highly demoralized. So they should also consider that.
General Secretary of the Local Government Workers Union also emphasized the importance of the union's decision to join the strike in solidarity with CLOGSAC.
It's a general issue. We can't single out local government Workers Union from CLOGSAC. This is a general issue. It's affecting everyone in the assembly. So I think we joining them to fight for this is the right direction.
Meanwhile, government ministries across the country were a pale shadow of their usual activity this morning as the strike took effect. CLOGSAC is demanding the immediate implementation and payment of its agreed salary structure as well as improved conditions of service.
Labour Affairs correspondent Daniel Opoku filed that report earlier for us. Meanwhile, Labour consultant Austin Game says Clocksack did not follow laid down procedures before declaring the strike. He's urging the association to demonstrate good faith by suspending the strike to allow for negotiations to continue.
It lies within the right of a union to go on strike if they feel strong about something, but based on the principles as in the Labour Act 651, you can then go. Unfortunately, in this circumstance, they've not been able to apply the rules as should be the case. That said, the employer can, go out of the way to engage them, which I think they have done. I've been following both parties very closely, and I do know that apart from the fact that the National Labour Commission invited them to stop the action and prepare to attend unto them tomorrow, Wednesday, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission held a meeting with them yesterday, and both parties concluded and agreed that Fair Wages will go and consult his principal and return to table. That means something is going on, and so if they are actually negotiating in good faith, as Section 97 enjoins them to do, they should have called off the strike this morning, but they are holding on to it because they think that is the way.
And I heard there Austin Game, he's a Labour Affairs consultant. And let's speak to Daniel Opoku, who is our correspondent on this front. Daniel, if you can tell us the latest update on the strike following Monday's negotiation between Clocksack and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission.
Right, so good afternoon to you, Beatrice. After the close of yesterday, the leadership of Clocksack was told by Fair Wages and Salaries Commission that they may have to secure what you call a mandate. Mandate basically has to do with sitting in, representing an entity or representing a minister, and not going beyond what the minister has told you to go into the negotiations with. So that's what they are waiting for. They did some consultations. My understanding this morning is that they are still consulting and waiting to meet the leadership of Clocksack to be able to bring finality to the ongoing strike. And hopefully, either by close of day today or tomorrow, we should see Clocksack calling off the strike, because we realize that the commitment of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has been fought right, and they have also been pushed to get the issues resolved.
If you can tell us, we do know that Clocksack has decided to continue with the strike because yesterday's meeting didn't end conclusively, as it were. Can you tell us what transpired, really, and whether or not there could be any indication of meeting anytime soon?
Right, so after the close of yesterday, Clocksack went to the meeting with the idea that government was going to bring out what we call the payment schedule, or roll out a payment schedule indicating when the amount owed them will be paid. There are two issues. One has to do with the salary structure, a new salary structure, and also the conditions of service. For the past almost 5 years now, Clocksack does not have a condition of service. So basically, the workers go to work without any condition of service that they have. And secondly, the lack of a new salary structure, which they believe, because Clocksack members are on the single spine salary structure, and they believe that the single spine has not been able to address the problem. For that reason, they asked for a new salary structure. Agreements has been done, they have been signed, but less is implementation, which has become a problem. So they were expecting that yesterday, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission could have even brought in a new arrangement indicating when the money should be paid. But unfortunately, they could not reach that conclusion. So they asked for today. So we are still monitoring the environment, wanting to see exactly what will happen, and the commitment of Fair Wages to get a new mandate, and also to ensure that Clocksack members also call off their strike.
Perhaps my final question before you go, Daniel. We know that they've been on this for a very long time, I believe since 2021. Does it look like government may yield to these demands from the members of Clocksack?
Yeah, from what I said, I foresee government yielding to the demands of Clocksack, and possibly maybe to vary some dictates or the content of the agreement. But government doesn't have any option that to yield to the demands of Clocksack, because for the past almost 10 years now, Closer does not have does not have conditions of service. For that reason, it becomes very difficult for members to also work. And also, they believe that since the introduction of single span salary structure, a lot of their members have been shortchanged. That's the position of Closer. And having gone through all the processes and met all those that are supposed to meet, i.e. the previous CEO of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, also even the current one, they have also met the current one to have the issues resolved. I see government yielding to their concerns, but some portions of the agreement are likely to be reviewed or varied.
Thank you very much, Daniel Opoko. He's our Labour Affairs correspondent. Now, the Accra High Court has set March 16 to rule on Wuntumi's submission of no case in the matter involving Akonta Mining granting unauthorized persons to mine at the Samuel Boy concession. On February 4, 2026, State Attorney, led by Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Shremsai, disclosed that the case of the prosecution against Chairman Wuntumi and his two co-accused, Kwame Entry, who is at large, and Akonta Mining Limited. It is the case of the prosecution that Chairman Wuntumi, without obtaining authorization from the minister, gave his mining concession in Samuel Boy to people to use for illegal mining activities, otherwise known as Galamsey, an accusation he has denied. Let's speak to our Court Affairs correspondent, Lord Edwasari, who is monitoring proceedings in court for us. Lord, what happened in court earlier today? We've lost Lord Edwasari there. Would try and get to him. But ahead of that conversation, Andy Apiakubi, who is lawyer for Bernard Enchibuesiakon Chairman Wuntumi, spoke to the press. Listen.
That will be the date for the ruling of our submission of no case. If it is upheld, then that will be the end of the trial. If the judge thinks that we have to open our defense, then we will make that statement also to us. And we'll begin our case also by opening our defense. But I'm very hopeful that based on the submissions made and looking at the evidence before the court, I'm hopeful that the judge will have to uphold our submission of the case. If it is not upheld, then it means that we open our defense. So we are at the crossroads where the judge will have to make that determination of whether the prosecution has been able to establish a prima facie case for us to open our defense.
And you heard there Andy Apiakubi, he's lawyer for Chairman Wuntumi. Let's speak to Lord Edwasari, who has been in court since the case started. Lord, what transpired in court today, which is the reason we had the lawyer for the accused?
Right, so basically the Deputy Attorney General actually filed his opposition or to indicate that urging the court to, as it were, dismiss the submission of no case filed by Wuntumi's lawyers, indicating that all from the investigations and where they are right now, it's evident that Wuntumi has a case to answer, and so he was praying the court for the submission of no case to be dismissed. Now, the presiding judge in the matter, Audrey Kokuvite, then adjourned the proceedings and set March 16, which is next week Monday, for the ruling on the submission of no case. When that happens, we will get to know whether Wuntumi will be discharged or he'll be made to open defense, by which case he'll then be asked to file his witness statements and addresses and all of that. And so that's where we are with Chairman Wuntumi. And Beatrice, I need to add that this case has got to do with the alleged illegal mining issues at the Samuel Boy concession, where he is alleged to have given permission to unauthorized persons without the actual permission from the Lands Ministry to mine in his concession. And so there are the person standing trial on this is Wuntumi himself, his company, Akonta Mining, and then one other person that the prosecution said remains at large. And so this is where we are as far as Wuntumi's case is concerned, Beatrice.
I want you to stay on the line a bit longer for us because the Office of the Special Prosecutor, we also understand, has dropped the charges against the Director of KEL Logistics Limited, Albert Ankra, after the fourth accused agreed to testify as prosecution witness in the ongoing criminal case against former MPA CEO Mustafa Hamid and 9 others. The accused persons have been charged with multiple offences, including stealing, extortion and money laundering. They have all pleaded not guilty and are currently on bail. Lord, what can you tell us about that as well?
Right, so in the matter regarding former NPA Chief Executive Mustafa Hamid and then the 9 others, the principal prosecutor at the Office of the Special Prosecutor, Adelaide Kobiri Wood, told the court that the fourth accused person and his lawyers met with an official at the Office of the Special Prosecutor where he narrated that he was misled into doing certain acts, and for which reason he agreed to be the prosecution witness. So in lieu of this, the OSP decided that they were going to drop the charges or withdraw the charges against him so that he can serve as the prosecution witness. So the principal attorney then asked the court for time to be able to file the amended charges so that they can probably come before the court, excluding the fourth accused, which was Albert Ankra, Beatrice.
Thank you very much, Lord Edwasare. He's our court affairs correspondent. Some 16 minutes past the hour of 12. You're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Some more here, and 12 remand inmates at the Hope Prison have been granted bail following an in-prison court session under the Justice for All program. The move, according to a justice of the Court of Appeal, Her Ladyship Efiase Saribotre, is a further step towards decongesting the prisons and a symbol of Ghana's commitment to upholding the rule of law. There's more in the following report.
Overcrowding remains a major problem in Ghana's prisons, with a growing number of remand inmates further complicating the situation. Although the 1992 Constitution states that persons arrested or detained must be released unconditionally if not tried within a reasonable time, systemic challenges have resulted in the prolonged detention of suspects in prison custody without trial. By the time the Justice for All program began in 2007, remand inmates alone were 4,218, making 30.57% of the total prisons population of 13,800 across the country.
What amounts to a reasonable time has not been clearly defined, and it is the lack of the clear standards together with the institutional challenges that has led to many accused persons in Ghana being held on remand for excessively long periods without trial. In some cases, detainees have even spent more time awaiting trial than the maximum sentence that the offense they are accused of actually carries.
The introduction of the Justice for All program has led to a remarkable reduction in the national population of remand prisoners by 17.73%. At the whole prison, 19 applications were received this year. Out of these, 12 were granted bail.
Of the 19 cases, the number of bail applications and variations granted were 12. The number of pre-trial prisoners discharged was 1. The number of convictions was 3, meaning that some of the inmates decided to change their plea to guilty and they were convicted and dealt with just this morning. 3 people were referred to psychiatric treatment and none of the applications was refused. All the applications were dealt with. Now, the Justice for All program has proven to be more than a response to overcrowding. It is a symbol of Ghana's commitment to upholding the rule of law.
Despite the significant improvement, Her Ladyship Justice Efiase Saribotre emphasized the need for diligence and consistency on the part of state actors who work within the criminal justice system to ensure fairness and timely justice delivery. Faisal Abdul Idrisu, TV3 News.
We say on security-related issues, and the regional command of the Ghana Police Service in the Western North region says it is working hard to track down the mother of an assault case. The 12-year-old Vida Kwarting was allegedly assaulted by her mother after selling plantain they harvested from the farm, an incident that has sparked concern among relatives and residents of the community. The uncle of the case, as in the uncle of the assaulted girl, spoke to us earlier. And if you're watching us on Facebook, we're showing you the visuals of the girl actually behind her back with bruises from the back onto the hand, even on her face. And that was exactly what the uncle was saying, that her body was seen with bruises. And indeed, that's what we've been showing you on Facebook if you're watching us there. Let's speak to our correspondent, Matthew Ahiave. He's been following the story. He joins us live on the phone now with some details. Matthew, what's the latest you have on this, especially regarding the police?
Okay, Beatrice, good afternoon. Now, the latest is this morning, the regional commander called me on after New Day showed, or after New Day published the story, and he called me and gave me an assurance that they are doing everything possible to get the mother of the victim arrested. So I think that's the current update now, and we are waiting for the police to give us more updates on whatever that will transpire.
You've been to the community. How are people reacting to this very incident?
In fact, the people are worried, the woman, about the incident, because according to some of them, this is not the first time the woman is doing that. It's something she has been doing all the time to her children, and even resulting to one of them leaving home to unknown location that nobody knows her whereabouts.
So tell us more. The story we're hearing is that she sold the plantain harvested from the farm, and as a result of that, she was beaten. If you can tell us, how did it happen? Is it that they left the farm and the child unilaterally went to the market and sold the plantain, or what? If you can give us the circumstances surrounding this.
Please. All right. The case here is it's a regular, or it's a usual business the woman has been doing with the children. So after school, the children will go around the community selling farm produce, that is tomatoes and all that. So any farm produce they will get, the children are the one that sells it to the neighbors around. So they came back from a farm. When they were coming, the children, according to them, told their mother that they will go and sell the plantain. But then the mother didn't give them any response. So they thought it's usual something they've been doing. So they will go ahead and go and sell it. So after selling it and making a profit of 30 cedis, they brought the money home to their mother, which they told her later that when their mother came back from meeting that they've used 10 cedis to buy food for their small brother. So they didn't know their mother got annoyed or anything. She didn't tell them anything, then started beating the victim.
All right, we'll end it here. Matthew Ahiave, he is our correspondent following this assault case, and we'll bring you more as and when we have the latest on this. Now, motorists and traders in the northeast Gonja district of the Savannah region continue to face daily struggles, battling deplorable road conditions and persistent threat of food glut. Road projects started in the district have stalled, making it difficult for residents who are predominantly farmers to access markets in parts of the district. They say that the situation is having a devastating impact on agricultural potential of the area. The Northeast Gonja district is one of the poorest districts in Ghana with high poverty levels and high underdevelopment. Let's touch base with my colleague Christopher Mwako, who joins us on the phone with some more on this developing story. Chris, just paint a picture for us really about the developmental gaps of the district, especially when it comes to road infrastructure.
Yeah, so Beatrice, if we talk about the Northeast Gonja district, apart from the Palabi Township, a road passing through the Palabi Township, there is no more travel road in the other parts of the district, because all the roads in the district during the rainy season, these areas are always cut off. You talk about the Palabi Nyeshila Bantini Road, you talk about the Voyili Pinchila Bagvam Road, you talk about the Bung Chandayili Road, you talk about the Jidantu Epune Yurama Road. All these roads were awarded on contract, but unfortunately, these work on these roads have all stalled, and so residents and commuters find it difficult to access other parts of the road, especially during the rainy season. They are more concerned because very soon the rainy season will be setting in again, and these communities will all be cut off. And so they are appealing to the roads ministry and government to, as it were, come and get the contractors to get back on site to complete these roads. Let's take a listen to what the chief and some of the residents within these areas have been telling us.
You will abandon all projects that the previous government started. We've also got a lot of our projects here which the previous government started. So we want to plead with him that he should continue, because they've done a lot of work. And very soon we'll be entering the rainy season. If we don't do that early, it means we have to wait till another time. And by waiting, it means we will cut off. We cannot go to Tamale, we cannot go to Damango, we cannot go anywhere. So we want to plead with him, with his ministers, Minister for Roads. They should do well and come and look at our place and see how far they have done the job. Even if they're not able to do all, but at least they do something for us to be able to pass through. After all, Rome was not built in a day. Subsequently, we know that he will complete it. So we want to plead with him through our honorable MP and his able district chief executive. So they will come and look at the place and then at least make it more trouble for us.
So to the sur now in Tria, now no ye cookie maletite. Sai kumbi bui, lower man kulan to do as well. Hal motokia kulan to dwell. So to the sur now nang ye cook, Kirko Zon now maletite now so. Then being now tap swanyaki, it by tap swante. Shane, lower man cook and select a color pom. Oma point young and the piano. So the sur now nang ye cookie mal.
So, Saman make a how do you go to the place?
I ain't young. I to sell motor pia. Kachang pang cross pia. Dipa chichi. Moto kutu garki. Hal moto bike but Dr. Gar. So now I cook.
And I believe that was the chief there speaking that local dialect. Christopher, if you can tell us exactly what he said in the last bit of the audio we just played.
Yes, so basically, Beatrice, what he's saying is that during the rainy season, not even a tricycle, a motor can cross to access other parts of the district. And so it's a worrying situation for them. Even when you are riding a single motor, you will have to push and traverse in water before you are able to cross to other parts of the district. Now, these culverts and other things have been constructed, just awaiting the contractor to start doing filling for them to be able to use the road, but work has been stalled. So they are appealing to government to come and continue.
And what about the response from the MP for the area? I believe he also spoke to you.
Yeah, so just last week, the Member of Parliament for the area, Alaji Alas, Muni asked a question in Parliament regarding the road, and the roads minister indicated that the contractor will soon get back on site, and so he's used the opportunity to appeal to the roads minister and government to ensure that the contractor gets back on site, because government has indicated that it is going to continue with projects started by the SWAL administration. Let's take a listen to what he has to say.
Road is a strategic road for the people of the Northeast Gonja districts, and for that matter, the Salga North constituency. So during the rainy season, we are not able to access other communities unless we do that through Tamale. It's also strategic because we have a lot of land for agricultural purposes. And so the deplorable nature of this road is a serious concern to us.
And that's it for the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Log on to 3news.com for more news.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Also coming up this afternoon, Tama Oil Refinery TOR moves to increase processing capacity to 45,000 barrels per day. Also ahead, Ghana reaffirms commitment to transparent, conflict-free diamond trade. We'll hear from Gold Board Chief Executive Sami Jemfi.
Ghana has undertaken deliberate reforms to further strengthen governance across the diamond value chain.
Plus, Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, SEMSI, urges government to shield Ghana from Middle East conflict shocks. This story and others lined up for you, please stay. Thanks for your company. Now to the details. The Tama Oil Refinery TOR is preparing to significantly boost its production capacity as part of a renewed effort to strengthen operations and increase output within Ghana's petroleum sector. Management of the refinery says technical processes are currently underway to expand its processing capability from 28,000 barrels per stream day to about 45,000 barrels per stream day.
The planned increase will be achieved through the integration of an additional processing unit known as the F26 unit, which will operate alongside the existing F1 unit. Both units will be connected to refinery's crude distillation system, a move expected to improve operational efficiency and raise overall output. According to officials, engineers are currently carrying out transitional technical procedures required to incorporate the new unit into the refinery's processing system. Once completed, the integration is expected to significantly increase production levels beyond the current 28,000 barrels per stream day. The refinery is currently operating under a tolling arrangement where companies supply crude oil to the facility for processing. Under the system, the refinery refines crude oil and charges a processing fee, while the refined petroleum products are returned to the company that supplied the crude. Corporate Affairs Officer at the Tema Oil Refinery, Godwin Mahama Ayaba, disclosed the development in an interview with 3 Business and explained that under the tolling arrangement, the refinery does not control the marketing distribution of finished petroleum products, as those decisions are expected by the crude oil suppliers. Management is also considering further expansion plans that could increase the refinery's processing capacity to about 60,000 barrels per stream day in the medium term.
And that was a 3 Business News report. Now, Chief Executive of the Ghana Gold Board, Sami Jemfi, says Ghana remains committed to transparency and responsible governance in the diamond trade. Speaking at the opening of the Kimberley Process Certification Scheme in Accra, he said efforts are being made with law enforcement agencies to maintain strict export controls, traceability systems, and verification procedures to ensure diamonds exported from Ghana remain conflict-free.
The 4-day program brought together a delegation of experts led by Russia to assess Ghana's compliance with global standards aimed at preventing conflict diamonds from entering the international market. Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Gold Board, Sami Jemfi, said Ghana's participation in the Kimberley process demonstrates the country's determination to ensure that diamonds produced locally comply fully with international standards and contribute to national development.
In recent years, Ghana has undertaken deliberate reforms to further strengthen governance across the diamond value chain. These include improvements in inspection and verification mechanisms, strengthened internal control systems, enhanced data management processes, and sustained capacity building for technical and frontline personnel.
He said Ghana has built a strong implementation framework anchored on inter-agency collaboration among institutions such as the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the Minerals Commission, and the Ghana Revenue Authority.
Review visits, not merely as an assessment exercise, but as an important platform for constructive engagement, peer review, mutual learning, and institutional strengthening.
Ghana currently serves as vice chair of the Kimberley process and is expected to assume the chairmanship in 2027.
And that was a report by my colleague Evelyn Tingma. Now, the Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, CEMSI, Benjamin Insia, has called on government to implement urgent pragmatic strategies to insulate the Ghanaian economy from the escalating volatility caused by the conflict in the Middle East. Speaking to 3 Business on the potential impact on global energy supply chains, Insia emphasized that Ghana remains vulnerable to external price shocks and supply disruptions. He noted that a proactive approach is required to ensure national energy security and price stability at the pumps.
Periodically, we are exposed to some of these price shocks when there are geopolitical tensions either in Eastern Europe or Middle East. And I think that the time has come for us to deploy certain energy security strategies that insulates us or makes us very self-reliant when some of these tensions arise. As a country, I think we need to begin to now focus more on renewable energy and energy transition within the transport sector and also in the power sector. These are the only measures that can protect us from some of these global oil price shocks. Because if you are not able to do it anytime there are some of these geopolitical tensions, they will affect us. However, in the immediate and short term, I think that as a country, we may have to relook at the taxes, maybe scrap some. We may also have to look at increasing our auction to the BDCs, where we give them very affordable dollars to be able to import this product.
And that was Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, CEMSI, Benjamin Insia. Still on the Middle East tensions, the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana is calling for the establishment of a national fertilizer bank to safeguard the country's food security. The call comes as global crude oil prices continue to rise, a development that could push the cost of fertilizer production. Urea, a key input in fertilizer manufacturing, is produced using natural gas, making the sector sensitive to energy price shocks.
As we speak on the global market, urea have moved from $60 to $80 per metric ton, and that is projected to go as far as 120.
And then it's a byproduct of crude.
Yes, and we also import about 554,000 metric tons of NPK fertilizer derivatives. And
from where exactly?
From majority from China, few from Europe.
Okay.
So those are some of the things we need to be looking at. Now, what we are saying is clear. As a country, can we have an established system where we do have a national fertilizer reserve?
Okay.
Okay, we need a reserve. Now, over the past 12 years, the chairman has been calling for a national seed bank. It is time we set up our national seed bank. Over 95% of all our vegetables we consume, apart from cayenne pepper or Legon 18, are all imported. For your carrots, your cabbage, your watermelon, whatever, onion, we import tomatoes, we import all the seeds. So, assuming that this issue drags on for the next 3 to 6 months, what are we going to do?
And that was Chief Executive of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, Anthony Morrison, bringing us to the end of Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Also, for more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. Thanks for your company.